Hello, you guys. Welcome back to the channel, the Hispanic Expat. I wanted to get back on and give you guys another video just to share a little bit about my thoughts lately on some things regarding career and stuff. Um, in the next few videos, I'll make sure that I have a mic. I decided to do it here in the same spot just because of the acoustics and for you guys to be able to hear me properly. But I'm going to start using a mic so that way you guys can hear me much better. So yeah, but I'll get right into it. So I've had epiphanies lately with where I'm at as far as my career, um, as far as where I feel that I'm at, like spiritually, emotionally. I know that I feel like I'm in a good place, but lately, just to give you guys some context, so I'm 26, right? Um, Being from the States born and raised in the US, um, I fell into the idea of, you got to go to college right after high school. You got to get a 4-year degree. Then you're going to get that job that you always wanted, et cetera, right? Um, Even when I was getting ready to graduate, um, I had aspirations for working overseas um, with a government agency. It was actually the Peace Corps. And I was actually accepted and I was going to be assigned to Colombia at the time. But this was 4 years ago when the world events started taking place. So that I had to resort to working stateside. So I did that. I spent about 3 years as like working in education as a assistant, substitute teacher, that sort of thing. And now lately, and I lived on my own as well at one point for almost 2 years, a year and a half, more or less. Um, and I've been back in my hometown, in back in my parents' house, to be honest with you. And then this past year, I started a new job. I work as a case manager uh, for the local government. Um, Pays all right, but it's a cubicle job. Um, And in the last year, the last several months, as I've shared in these videos, I've tried to get into remote work. And it's been really rough as far as with the job market, um, trying to get into the remote workspace and, all this. There's just, I've put in about close to 700 applications. I know there's people that have put in more. There's videos out there where they've put like 1,000, 1,500, just like so many applications, right? And barely get an interview, a call back, and all this. So, but like lately, the last several weeks, especially because my job is in a cubicle, um, it really like it's been really surreal just thinking like, what, like, is this where my life's gonna be if I'm gonna continue down this road in my cubicle job, right? And obviously, in the goal of this channel is my journey as far as eventually like moving out overseas. Um, as I mentioned before, and I will mention in other videos, what countries I'm considering, both Mexico and both Paraguay, those specific ones. Um, but just to give you an example, right? And this is aside from politics, but like, for example, here in California, in the state of California, they just passed a bill. You can look this up. They recently passed it where they're allowing, they're basically allowing those who are not legal, illegal, political asylum, whatever you want to call it, basically illegal residents or immigrants. The state has passed a law where they're going to allow them to apply for a home loan of up to $150,000 with 0% interest rate. And that's pretty much going to be paid for by who? By the taxpayer, right? By myself, by other people included. Um, it's really disheartening, with the issues right now with housing and stuff, right? Um, but I've accepted the fact that I'm never gonna really be able to, you know, I'm not gonna be able to thrive with the kind of job I have, and more so living in the country, or specifically in this state, that it does not, I don't have the benefits no more, as far as what my parents once had, what my grandparents once had when they first came to this country. I mean, it's funny how they talk about, for example, like my parents, right? They have two homes, right? Their first home that they bought was worth, if I can recall, about 30 years ago. It was over 30 years ago. It was they bought it at like $78,000. That's unheard of in the U.S. I mean, if you're gonna buy something like that in the U.S., I mean, you're gonna buy, you're not gonna buy it in the best area, and it's not gonna be the nicest house, right? Although it is a house, but still, right? If you really want like a decent home, it's costing you right now 300, $400,000, if not half a million, sometimes a million, in these bigger cities, right? In San Diego, LA. If you guys are from the West Coast, you guys already know. East Coast, it's pretty much the same deal. So, kind of going back to the whole epiphanies I've had lately, I mean, I've just realized that, my best bet recently that I've looked into, and I looked into it before, um, I guess briefly, even right out of college while I was still working, is looking into the merchant marine industry, which is basically like working in ships, but it's contract work. So you work, as little as 1 to 2 months out of the year, 3 months, 6 months out of the year, or you can work 10 to 12 months out of the year if you want to. Which I guess from what I've researched, that's not really the case. Some guys, some people, they do it all throughout the year. Or they just work 6 months out of the year. The rest they save it, and they use that money to save. They travel. They invest it in something, ideally real estate. Some people invested in businesses, to each their own. But I feel like at this age, being 27, not married, not with kids, no debt, um, I don't even own a house, to be quite honest. I don't own anything other than the car that I drive. Um, I feel like with my goals, as far as financial goals of living overseas long term, part time, ideally long term, investing in real estate, renting out real estate, just being outside of the U.S. for a good time out of the year, right? I feel that it's the best move to do that. I mean, and the thing is, people have, sometimes people will have, an ego, as far as like, no, I'm not gonna do that kind of work. No, I'm like, what? Me working in a ship? Me working in? I mean, I can say proudly, I've done that type of work. Um, I went twice to Alaska in the summer seasons when I had the summers off at my job at the school, where I worked in salmon fishing. And a lot of people will ask me like, why did you go? Did you go, like, why did you go? I'm like, well, I went because, one, it was an experience that I wanted to have. Two, obviously to make money. Three, um, to also work and to see, like, it also humbled me in a sense too, doing that kind of work, where I worked, um, you know, 450 hours, 16-hour shifts in a span of almost 2 months, a month and a half, right? Um, so I'm really just, I don't have sincere faith anymore, as far as going down the traditional path that most people tell you, that, hey, like, you can get this like great office job, you can get this, you know um certain careers that, like, oh, it pays well, but it's like, you know it comes with the status, or it comes with the title. Whereas now I'm at a point where I feel that it's better for me to be more practical, to do work that suits best for my goals. I don't sincerely, I don't have true, um I just don't have the true desire to invest in the US anymore, because of the fact that your property taxes are going up, your HOA fees are going up, interest rates are high, and even though they go low, you got high inflation that's coming in. Now you got, these laws that are passing where, and I'm not going to say who or what or why, but basically where they're just throwing money out to whoever comes into the country. And what about us, right? So all in all, we have what, three? It's September 2nd, right? Labor Day weekend. Um, we have uh, about 3, 4 months to the end of the year. So I really feel that, I'm in a place right now where I just feel like I am burned out. I don't see a way out as far as continuing the direction I'm going at. And yeah, people can say, well, yeah, you have a job. I'm grateful for it. 1,000%. I'm grateful. I'm grateful grateful for the fact that I've always worked. I mean, if any of you guys know me, I've always worked. Um, Even while I was in school, when I graduated school, when I was not working in the summer, right? Like I've always been proactive in that sense. But I feel like I owe it to myself to make a career change, right? Which is, as I mentioned, the merchant marine industry, right? Maybe I can do another video on that, kind of talk about that. Which ideally, I want this channel to be more about my journey, uh, with how I want to be able um, to build, to save money, to travel, to get a residency. I already have, I'm already a dual citizen of the U.S. and Mexico. I'm looking into Paraguay as well. That's one of the next videos that I'm gonna be talking about as well, regarding Paraguay, right? But I guess, just a takeaway from this video, right? And again, this video is very unstructured in the sense that I'm just kind of sharing my thoughts on it. Is, if you feel that you have a job, or you feel that you're doing something because you were told to do it for so long, you know, maybe I've learned the hard way now, where I've been working the last, what, 4 years in the jobs that I thought it was the right thing to be in, right? Um, and I'm coming to realize that, like, I'm not even happy. It's not it it's almost like it's soul sucking, right? Because I have a cubicle job. I work as a case manager. Yeah, I go out and whatnot, but I'm in a cubicle. Um, it's stressful at times. It's very strict, a lot of policies and just um, and I see some people that are there that, yeah, I mean, they're probably happy, but some people that are not, right? Um, but I just feel that, I guess the takeaway is that if you feel that you're doing something just because of outside influences telling, like, hey, like, you know you're gonna you're this job's gonna be great, like, you're gonna do well, or it's gonna make you happy. I'm coming to the fact that even before and then now with this job, like, you know and even trying to get into remote work, like, I feel very discouraged, right? So I feel that, I'm still young, I'm still healthy. Why not give it a shot, right? Why not take a risk the next 3, 5 years, and shift, you know, downgrade, right? Or try to get into something that not everybody would ideally think of getting to, right? Which is shipping, right? But I feel that it just makes sense for me, in the sense that deep down, I'm a very adventurous person. I've just kind of let myself go in that sense, right? And yeah, I mean, well, what I'm telling you, it's very personal things of how I feel lately, as far as not giving myself that chance, right? Because I will say the happiest times in my life, or the times where I felt the most free, was times that I was traveling, and times that I was doing something out of the ordinary, right? Which was like working in Alaska, right? Regardless of the money you make, it's just the experience and almost the freedom of it too. So, but yeah, I'll pretty much leave it at that for today. Um, I'll make sure on the next video, I'm going to be having a mic. It should be coming in pretty soon. But I'll kind of share more about my thoughts with um, with the residency in Paraguay. That's one thing I want to explain to you guys about. It looks like the next few months, hopefully in the end of the year, 2025, is when I'll be out there. And yeah, I'll keep you guys in the loop. Stay safe, stay blessed, and we'll see you guys next time.